Welcome to Freedom to Fuel, the talk show that will energize how you think about your utilities. Brought to you by Huntsville Utilities and the American Public Gas Association. Coming to you this week from the Harborside Ballroom of the Hyatt Regency in Savannah, Georgia, I'm Todd Long with the Huntsville Utilities Orchestra, introducing your host, the Colonel, John Olszewski.
Well, we're in a crowded room, aren't we, Todd?
It is more crowded than
I thought we were just getting introduced to The Price is Right.
Well,
I don't know if I'm qualified.
You thought I was going to get The Price is Right. Well, I got a bunch of smarties over here. So, hey, this is a great day. I've been on these two great Americans sitting next to me. I've been on their podcast before. This is Ted and Joe of UPSCO. So how's that? UPSCO.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about what UPSCO does and all that kind of stuff.
I'm going to go first because it'll be the only words I get in edgewise. We're a manufacturer of prefabricated meters assemblies focused in the Northeast. And
He's right. No, Ted kind of hit it. We started in 1965. UPSCO's a manufacturer, first and foremost, of prefabricated meter sets. And we also have a distribution and contractor line as well. So primarily located in the Northeast, recently extended our footprint out to different parts of the U.S., but, stay tuned. Coming to a city near you, I hope.
Well, that's the goal of mine, is to try to help you get outside of that northern area and get down here in the South. What do you think about that?
well, as long as you stop calling me a Yankee, I'm okay with it. All right?
Well, all you got to do is listen to that accent. All you got to do is listen to that accent.
Yeah.
So tell me, okay, how many employees are at your outfit?
UPSCO.
I think right now probably about a 120, 125. Yeah.
Wow. That's bigger than I thought.
Yeah.
So where are your manufacturing facilities at?
We're based out of Moravia, New York. Joe and I both live in New York. I live on the south end of Seneca Lake. Our company's located on the south end of UPSCO Lake, and Joe lives on the north end of UPSCO Lake.
Yeah, if you're familiar with like the Finger Lakes, and if you're not, we typically will say Syracuse, Syracuse area, so central New York. The company was again established in 1965. It's been in the same town. Within a quarter mile of the original location, we have our new facility.
Yeah.
So
We're also the
Yankees or Mets?
Mets.
Yankees. Yeah. We're also a proud organization in that we created the first ever prefabricated meter assembly in the history.
Well, that was where I was going.
First one in the world.
First one in the world.
And that's where I was going to go. Talk me through what I heard it today, and I heard you do a good job explaining in basic what the hell that is.
All right, Joe, I'm going to go to him because this is his whole job.
It's very simple. For those of you that don't know what a prefabricated meter set is, it's literally what is outside of your home. If you have gas at your home that hangs the meter, that's what we build and manufacture. So typically in the old days, and even still to this day, gas utilities would make their own. In 1965 was established, it would be a lot more cost effective to be able to manufacture in an environment where you could kind of almost replicate it as like a conveyor belt. Like you're just manufacturing the same sets over and over again, but we also have the ability to pressure test them, paint them, and then send them out for much less cost than it would cost a utility to manufacture them on their own.
Well, I'll tell you what, I heard you loud and clear out there when you were briefing this to somebody I knew very well. The bottom line up front is when we do a cost comparison in this space, we don't factor in the cost of the labor of the guy or gal that's doing the item. Yeah. And
he's free, right?
Well, he's free. And what was the word we heard today? We heard during our downtime or a rainy day. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of other things you can do on a rainy day in the utility space.
And really what you're gaining, honestly, is standardization.
Yes.
So you're now creating something that's standardized across your platform. So, for example, at your utility, if you have something that they put on a standard home, residential home, 95% of the time, it's easy to train your employees and new incoming personnel to what that design is because it's standard. It's something that they're going to see repeated. I think one of the other things, too, that gets lost in translation is one of the biggest components of what we do is the coding.
Yes.
Well, and I heard you say that out there.
So when your guys are making them in the shop, you're not getting an electrically static applied coating. You're not getting a two-part epoxy. You're not getting something that's really conducive to good corrosion protection. You're getting a can of Rust-Oleum or a can of Krylon, and it's put on just as kind of like a A top coat.
So I can't let this go before we get into another subject. I want to say that how I met, because I forgot that part, and it's why we're here today. EWN, who will be on a show today as well. EWN runs a podcast, and
it's worse than ours.
We're better than them.
We're way better than them.
But they're award winning though.
That doesn't mean much.
Listen, I can buy an award too. I can get a trophy.
I love those guys though. Well, that's how you brought us together.
Well, we brought us together because I was on it. And what was the what was the word they asked us?
Be brave.
Be brave.
Be brave.
And I had just met my brother over a Citadel connection. We won't go into any great detail, but I just met my brother here, my Marine brother, and we were talking about combat. And I got a real combat veteran here that I get goosebumps talking about it. Somebody saw real action. I mean, I was a logistics guy, and I got shot at coming in on an airplane or something.
No big deal.
No big deal.
That was yesterday.
But my brother here's seen it. So I get there, and they don't tell us what they're going to ask us. And they go, well, what do you think about Be Brave? And I go, I just hung out with Be Brave, Ted Pete, just 20 minutes ago. So I'm going to step it up a notch.
In your defense, you didn't really know him well then.
I know, but I know him now. So here's the rest of the story. I had to come up with a thing. Well, I didn't think I had to, but I did. And it was called, and I had the help of the APGI staff, and I came up with Freedom to Fuel.
Yeah.
And I took an approach that I feel like our country is trying to tell us what we should have, what we should do, and that's not what three of us fought for.
Yeah.
We didn't fight for that. We fought for freedom of choice.
Yes.
Freedom to...
By the way, I'm the fourth one that didn't fight for that.
Yeah, well, you are the fourth one, but we're giving you credit because we said you look like a soldier and you didn't pass it off.
I'm absolutely
So I'm kind of intrigued by what you think of the theme.
Well, Freedom to Fuel is amazing. Now, let's not get it twisted here. I'm all for moving towards a more positive outcome for all of our fuels in this world.
Energy.
Energy, or energy creation, how we do it. I just want it to be scalable and in a way that's not going to shut down our industry in one way or another. It's going to shut it down either negatively because we can't generate enough power and enough energy to go full into that, versus how we get there. Let's scale this thing. Let's do this in, slow is smooth and smooth is fast, right?
No, man. You used a real Army Marine term. Scalable. I've heard scalable forever.
So
come on, top that one, big boy.
No, he will. Let's go for it.
Be careful what you ask for.
Clean words.
In reality, in current reality, and this boggles my mind. It boggles my mind every time I think of it. Is that we're actually costing people money, livelihoods, jobs, lives even, because of energy policies that were created for no other reason than to pander to votes, really.
Wow.
And
he's not pulling punches.
No, he's not.
And I don't mean to be mean when I say this or off base, but the fact that we have enough energy or ways to produce energy that could prevent people from freezing or dying or whatever the case may be, and we refuse to do it because of policy, makes me insane. If tomorrow we could make solar power every bit of energy that we would ever need tenfold, there's not a person in this room that would oppose that. There's not a person in this industry that would oppose that. The fact is we can't. We need to be realistic in our goals and ambitions that 10 years ago, 82% of our energy came from fossil fuels 10 years ago. Now, with $3.2 trillion spent in the last 10 years on looking into renewable sources and green energy, it's 81%. So let's put that in perspective. We spent $3.2 trillion on a lot and spent a lot of money that could have been used and allocated other ways to save a lot of people, to take homelessness away, to feed, clothe. And there's so many things that could have been done with that money. And what we did is we reduced fossil fuels by 1%.
So even to piggyback on that, though,
so
Joe,
there.
Joe,
I feel better now.
Joe knows the stats better than I do, but I'll say the measurable was 1983, I want to say. Our nation used X amount of natural gas, okay, in 1983. That was what we used. we still use that same amount of natural gas, but we've gone from natural gas generation being this percentage to being this percentage. We've increased the efficiency with the use of natural gas. I don't know the multiplier. It's insane. We've got it's become so clean. It's become so efficient. It's become such a tool and a resource that it really does provide the life-sustaining energy needed for our future.
I think that's a great point. I think we've kind of replaced coal with natural gas.
Yeah.
Is what we've done. I mean, if you look at the stats from what we used to produce energy from coal, we kind of like flip-flopped them in the last 10 years, right? But natural gas doesn't get the respect for being that cleaner energy, that bridge.
That's what I really
source, right? And I don't like that. I feel like the goal was to become cleaner. We've done that. Because we've used the fossil fuel, you don't get credit for that. And I think there's something fundamentally wrong with that thought process. If tomorrow we were able to take emissions down from whatever it is today, down 10%, that's a victory. It's moving, it's progressing. We're progressing. But because it's not done with solar or wind, it doesn't get the...
Or hydro,
Yeah. It doesn't get... Or nuclear.
Yeah.
It doesn't get the attention or the respect that I think it deserves. And I don't think the industry as a whole that has spent countless measures to try to reduce methane leaks, to make pipeline more, have more pipeline integrity, and all the things that have gone along with that. Just, I don't know. I kind of feel like it doesn't get the merit that it deserves, and it kind of gets brushed under the rug of coal and oil, and it's a dirty thing. I don't like that.
I'll share this with you. I was at my wife and I went for drinks on Friday night, and where we went, a gubernatorial candidate was there hosting a party. And I got brought over to be introduced to the man, and he said, he shared with me energy policies and stuff that he really liked. And he's like, we got to go nuclear because nuclear is where we'll be able to get the votes. That's what is exciting to people. That's what will get them in there. And I said, well, we already have something that is so much more this or that, And we went back and forth, and he goes, but nobody will buy into it because you can't get votes put behind that. And I go, that's what's wrong with our political system, folks. That's it right there in a nutshell. I'll see you later.
The only thing I'll say politically is that if you're in any type of role, I don't care if it's state government, local government, federal government, doesn't matter. If you wake up every day and your job isn't to make the lives of your constituents better, you're in the wrong job.
Absolutely.
That kind of brings up something. We were talking to Stuart Salters from the APGA yesterday. And it seems to me like there is a significant amount of, I'll put it politely, misguided information out there. People who feel like, well, I am of the left, so I have to feel this way.
Yes.
I haven't bothered to look into any of the facts about natural gas, but since I want to have this political belief and be in with this political crowd, I have to feel this way.
Well, that's the same thing as when you're looking at someone who's like, I'm going to power my house entirely by electricity. I'm going to get rid of my natural gas stove. I'm going to get rid of my heat. I'm going to get rid of all this. I'm going to power it by electricity. All right. Unless you got the solar panel on your house, if you're paying extra for all of the other things, you don't realize what you've actually just done. You're not doing it for the right reason.
You're also getting electricity that's most likely powered by
natural gas.
Yes, by natural gas. Yes.
Everybody has this vision of being, neutral and carbon neutral and all those things, but even electric cars are built with plastic and oil and petroleum products, and I think it's funny that everybody wants change until it impacts them. Right?
Yeah.
So everybody that's screaming that we should be doing more of these things have no problem putting gasoline in their car or turning the lights on in their home because it doesn't impact them. So from a political standpoint, we've also crossed this weird threshold where you can't be middle anymore.
Yeah, there's no such thing as bipartisanship.
One side or the other.
You have to choose sides.
Yes.
And I think that's tough. And you'd mentioned it before, and I'll kind of circle back to it. Stuart, the only way to do that is through education. We need to educate people. So when Bernie Sanders tweets out that last August was the hottest August ever in the history of the world, and 3 million people see that they know that that's not factual, right? And you have, much like everything else, the celebrities they want to be on that cool messaging. They have millions of followers, so
Or they're
that
paid to
message
be on
gets
that cool
diluted,
messaging.
and it's we don't have that champion on like the celebrity side for fossil fuels that's out there talking about how good
not
it is.
only do facts not matter,
Yes.
I don't want to hear your facts.
Yes. There's no such thing
Because
as
you have an
working across-
unacceptable position.
Yes.
You're right.
Because you also, you might be right.
Yeah.
And I know you're right. I'm not saying. I'm
No,
not
no,
saying
I know
something
you-
when I say
Yeah.
that. I'm just saying,
You know-
that's what we've reached into as a society is we're just going to argue emotions. We're not going to argue facts.
Well, we've forgotten what it's like to be able to disagree with people, but also be respectful.
Well, that's one of my favorite sayings. Disagreement doesn't equal disrespect.
No,
And that's where we're broke.
it does now.
Well, it does, but
Yeah.
what we got, that's what, okay, but let me say this. We have this show, you have
Yeah.
your show, EWN has their show. We're all in this show to tell our story.
Our show's Connections for Life. If anybody, we didn't talk about that, but that's okay.
Okay, yours is Collections for Life. Mine's about freedom and fuel, and theirs is about culture and all that other cool stuff.
Amanda and I have a show too.
And Amanda, what's your show?
HUTV, Huntsville Utilities Television.
ought to watch
And it's won
something.
awards.
It's
I
won
didn't know
awards,
about that.
too. It's
Now
won
I know a new
awards, too.
show.
Award winning.
So all that to say, so how's this? Appreciate you guys being here today.
Thank you.
And this was like,
Well, I actually got a couple of more questions.
Oh,
I got a couple of questions.
hey,
This
hey.
kind of goes to what you were saying a second ago. I read about, before Amanda and I came down here to start setting up, that New York has decided as a state to follow California and say, I believe 2035 is the year they've chosen. We're not
luck.
going to let you sell gas cars anymore. There's no way
Good luck.
in hell that's going to come to fruition, and it's not going to happen in California either. But it goes to what you were saying a second ago. That is so misguided.
And it's unrealistic. You're
Yeah.
setting unrealistic expectations for people that are unachievable.
Yeah, it's all
based
dog
on
and pony.
The technology doesn't even exist to be able to complete what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
And it's silly. It's silly.
It's an attempt to appeal to the base by going
but
back
it's
and
also
saying, I
silly
took
to
a
give
stand
people the
against
expectation that that's realistic.
That's the problem that I have with it is they're pushing it out there as this is actually a reality that could happen.
Yeah.
And
it can't.
It's not possible.
Not.
You can't do
Wait
it
a minute.
yet.
Before I get stuck in
With- hold on.
2035 and
Yeah.
we're all in electric vehicles.
Yeah.
I want to say that it doesn't. It's not realistic based on today's technology.
Yeah. So
That could change.
Well, here's the other thing that where it's not realistic for me, and this is where I struggle, and this is probably where your heartstrings got tugged on earlier, where mine get tugged on, is, we can take your home right now and we can completely electrify it. And it's going to cost you now $400 more a month, though, by the way.
Well,
That falls nowhere in any narrative
Right.
that's being shifted or anything that's being
They don't talk about the extended cost to the American public.
Exactly.
None of that is associated with it, and it's so infuriating because they're like, you can retrofit this and do that and everything. At what cost? Where does this money come from?
Well, and the thing is, it's just another one of these things on the laundry list of things. I remember, I grew up in the 80s.
Okay.
We were supposed to have flying cars by 2000.
Yes.
I saw those
still
on
want-
Back to the Future.
I still want my flying car.
The Jetsons
So,
also had them.
Amanda, I've lost control.
Get me the flying car first, then we'll worry about not selling the gas cars.
Definitely.
The other thing I wanted to ask you guys about. Well, I got to earn my money.
No way. We'll do this all day.
Okay. How is everything? How are the supply chain issues that everybody seems to be facing right now?
They're great.
How's that impacting you guys? How's it impacting?
It's great.
What you guys
Actually, we don't have any supply chain issues. Please feel free to give me a call.
Let's go. Same. I think one of the things that I'm gonna like credit us for doing this accidentally.
Yeah.
So we kind of started a program where we were doing like really long forecasted ordering patterns with our customers and trying to do some modeling and things like that. We started doing that prior to the pandemic.
2019. We got it in
and prior
2019.
to like the supply chain issues. So we kind of, while we deal with and have dealt with the issues of supply chain and the specifically regulators for us, buying gas regulators.
Right.
We didn't find that as challenging as I think some other people did because we accidentally got lucky, I think, that we started doing things so far in ahead that kind of saved us some of those pains that a lot of people felt.
I saw a Tom Hanks quote where he says, "This too shall pass," and apply it to everything in life.
True.
This too shall pass. Hey, things are great right now. This too shall pass.
hey, things really stink right now. This too shall pass.
I don't think he wrote that.
No, but that's how where I saw it.
I think that's a Tom Hanks quote. I think you stole that from somebody.
Oh, that's where I heard.
Yeah, like Socrates.
I yield my time back to the.
I want to make sure. Are you done, Mr. Todd?
I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
cool
you.
with that.
I appreciate your questioning, and
Yeah.
I just want to say before you do whatever it is that you do, thank you for being brave enough to step up and feel comfortable and confident enough to do a show and a program. No matter how many people come out of the gates and do programs or webcasts or webinars or podcasts or whatever they do, it's to the benefit of our industry as a whole, always. So very proud that you stepped out of probably your comfort zone and started doing something that's a little different and fun and fresh and unique. And I hope there's 50 more that come after you and 50 more that come after that, because back to what we originally said, the education of people, we do a really good job of siloing our conversations with each other.
Yeah.
The more that we get out and the more people that are able to see us from a social media aspect or in different avenues and places, just even if you convince or get one person additional to watch it, it makes it all worthwhile. So thank you for having the courage to put this show together. Appreciate that.
Joe and Ted, and they got this logo right there.
UPSCO.
So UPSCO. So thank you guys. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Freedom to Fuel is produced by Huntsville Utilities in cooperation with the American Public Gas Association. The views expressed by the host and guests do not necessarily reflect those of HU or the APGA. Our audiovisual engineer is Amanda Tomczyk-Kemp with additional production elements provided by Jeffrey Long. If you have a comment or question, post it in the comments below. And remember, the freedom to fuel is only natural.